Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to our next episode in our complete reading of Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. In the previous episode, we saw how Dasaratha Maharaja tells Kausalyama that she should not be admonishing him and he is also in great pain. Kausalyama again cries, saying that I did not insult you intentionally, but this was what has happened. I just could not take this sudden trouble that has come my way. That's what she says. Now, this is the sixth night after Sri Ramachandra has left Ayodhya. And here Dasaratha Maharaja is saying, O Kausalya, I am remembering a huge sin that I committed when I was young. O Kausalya, I was very young. I did not even get married. So, at that time, I learned wonderful archery. I learned archery to such an extent where I could hear the sound and hit the target. That's called Shabdabhedi. So I was a great Shabdabhedi. I was an expert in that art. And once there was this wonderful rainy season that came, and I went into the forests to practice my skill. And I went near a pond. I saw that there was a pond, and now I wanted to put my skill to use. I want to practice it. I wanted to check for myself how good I was. And then I went into the trees near the pond and I sat there awaiting some wild animal to come and drink water so that I can kill that animal with my arrow. I even killed a few wild animals, Kausalya, and I was waiting in that night for some other animal to come. And all of a sudden, I heard a lot of sound from the pond. As I have already killed two animals that made sound from the pond, I realized that the animal that's making the sound might be an elephant. The sound was coming in that particular way. So immediately I took my arrow, aimed it towards the sound, and left the arrow. All of a sudden, I heard a man crying and wailing in pain. I realized that it was my arrow that touched him in one of his marmasthanas. Marmasthanas are the points in our body where our prana shakti resides. So I realized that the person was in great pain, and I quickly rushed to that pond. And near the pond, I saw a person who was quite young, but he was in a Muni Vesha. He was doing the activities of a Muni. Looking at him, I realized he was a Muni. And then that man, by the time I reached, he was saying, I live in this forest. I only help people. I don't harm anyone. Whom did I harm that they came and attacked me like this? This is not done. Why was I subjected to this sort of killing? I am going to die. Ayo, what is going to happen to my mom? What is going to happen to my father? They both are quite old. Like this, that man was wailing. I ran to that man, told him that I committed a mistake due to which this has happened. And I told him that I was ready for any sort of punishment that the person deemed fit for me. That person looked at me and he said, Oh Raja, you made a mistake, and this is a huge mistake that you have made. Now I just can't live. So I have come here to fetch water for my mother and father. So please take this water and give it to my mother and father. They both are in that ashram nearby. So please go there and give this water to them. And O Rajan, I understand that this was a mistake and this was not intentional. Now you go and give this water to my father. Only then you will be saved from the anger of my father. And O Raja, don't worry too much. Look at the dharma guna in that particular person. Okay, in that particular boy. He was saying, Oh Raja, don't worry. Don't think otherwise. Don't think that you have killed a Brahmana and you are going to get Brahmahatya Pataka. No, I am born to a Vaishya and a Shudra woman. So my father is a Vaishya from the trader community and my mother comes from the Shudra community. So you won't get Brahmahatya Pataka, but take this water, give it to them. But first remove this arrow from my body because my pranas are planning to leave this body, but this arrow is not letting them leave. Kindly pull out this arrow from my body so that I can die in peace. Dasaratha Maharaja was in a dilemma as to what to do, whether to remove the arrow or not was a huge dilemma for him. He thinks for some time, but later he decides to go by the wish of that particular boy and he removes that, and the moment the arrow is removed, that person dies. Dasaratha Maharaja cries He feels bad for whatever he did, but then he takes that water and walks in the direction that the boy who fell down there told. Dasaratha Maharaja walks in that direction, and after some time, he sees that there is a small ashrama. Now, again, I'll go back to the first person because Dasaratha Maharaja was narrating it in the first person to Kausalyama, right? So Dasaratha Maharaja tells Kausalyama, I walked towards that particular ashrama and I saw two very, very old people there. And the man was so old, by hearing my footsteps, they thought that their son has arrived. And the old man started saying, oh son, did I do any mistake? Did your mother do any mistake? Why did it take you so much time for you to come from the pond till here? Give me water. When Dasaratha Maharaja gives water, he realizes that the person who is giving water to him is not his son, and hence he says to Dasaratha Maharaja, who are you? Tell me who you are and what has happened to my child. Dasaratha Maharaja then realizes that both of them were blind, the man and the wife are blind, and he tells Kausalyama, oh Kausalya, I informed that old man and his wife about the whole thing that has happened. I apologized for them for my mistake, and I told them that I was ready to take any punishment for the thing that I have committed unknowingly. Now, the old man said, oh Dasharatha, had you not come here like this and had you not confessed, by now your head would have become in 1,000 pieces. I would have cursed you that your head would blast into 1,000 pieces. I would have cursed that the entire Ikshvaku Vamsa would burn. But then you came here, you told me this. Now first take me and my wife to the place where my son is. Dasaratha Maharaja takes the man and his wife to the place where the boy left his body. They both touch the body, they both cry in pain. All of a sudden, that boy reappears along with Devendra there, and he consoles his mother and father, saying that, oh mother and father, don't worry. By doing the service to both of you, I have attained a lot of punya, and I am in these punya lokas right now. So don't worry. You also will come to these punya lokas. He assures his parents multiple times, and then he goes away. Now, Dasaratha Maharaja is watching this whole thing unfold, and the old man now turns back towards Dasaratha Maharaja and says, in this age I lost my son, and I am going to die in the pain that I am not able to see my son, or I am not able to be there along with my son. O Dasharatha, today I am cursing you. When your end time comes, you will not have your son by your side, and you will cry the way I am crying, and you will die. O Kausalya, I have now realized that my end time has come. That's why I am away from my son now. My life is like that of a person who removed a mango plantation and put up a plantation of a tree called flame of a forest. That's called Moduga in Telugu. It's called Butea monosperma. That's its botanical name. The fruits and all of the tree are of no use. So Dasharatha is saying, my life has become the life of a person who has cut down a mango plantation only to plant this sort of a tree. Oh Kausalya, I know my end is coming near. I can't survive this separation from Sri Rama anymore. Again, he breaks into crying and he becomes silent. And after midnight that day, wailing that he is not able to see his son, crying in deep pain, Dasaratha Maharaja leaves his material body and starts his journey towards the heavens. Now, Kausalyama and Sumitra, who were sleeping there, they did not even realize, they just become silent and they too are asleep. The next morning, all the Vandimagadas, the palace people, all the ladies, they come over to wake up the king, and when they touch the king, they realize that the king is not there in the body anymore. They realize that the king has left all of them, and they start crying. Kausalyama and Sumitra wake up. They listen to this crying because they were crying the whole night before. Kausalya and Sumitra, they fell asleep, and now they wake up. Kausalyama realizes what has happened. Sumitra realizes what has happened. Now both Kausalya and Sumitra start crying, and at this point of time, Kausalyama would actually be rolling on the floor and crying that, I lost my husband. My son got separated from me. What is this life? She cries like anything. She doesn't leave the body. Sumitra also doesn't leave the body of Dasaratha. They both start hugging the body of Dasaratha. They both start crying, saying, Ayo, what has happened? Why has this happened to us? And as they are not leaving the body, the others, the other women, the other people around there, they come, they remove Kausalyama and Sumitrama physically from the body, and they put them in a faraway place. The information is sent out that the king is dead. Vasishtha Maharshi quickly gets to know about this news. In the meantime, Kausalyama starts criticizing or starts insulting or starts scolding Kaikeyi. She says because of her all this has happened. In the interim, all the Pramukhas, all the ministers and all, they quickly reach out to Vasishtha and they say, hey Bhagavan, quickly appoint someone else as a king, because if the king is not there in the kingdom will start losing its sheen. Someone might attack us, so we'll be like a rudderless steam. So please appoint someone as the king. Vasishtha Maharshi quickly says, no, it is not time for us to appoint a king. We have to get back Bharata first. So quickly place Dasaratha Maharaja's body in a droni or in a huge vessel filled with oil. Bring in a huge tub-like thing, pour a lot of oil in it, pour so much oil that Dasaratha's body can completely be submerged in that oil. So do that quickly. So they quickly bring that tub, a huge one there, and they pour a lot of oil in it, and then they place Dasaratha Maharaja's body into that. Now Vasishtha Maharshi quickly calls 5 ministers and he says, take the best horses available, quickly go to the Kekaya Rajya and inform Bharata that he has to come to kingdom quickly. Don't give him any other news. Take good presents for the Kekaya Raja. Take good presents for Yudhajit. Take good presents for whomever you need to give there. But take good presents. Move quickly. Move swiftly and quickly go to Kekaya Rajya. So now these 5 people, they quickly take the best of the horses available and they move as fast as possible. They cross the Ganga river and then they cross the Saradanda river, and from there they reach Abhikala Grama, and from there they finally complete the whole journey and they reach Girivrajapura, and by night they enter Girivrajapura. And what would they do next? How is Bharata over here? All that we will discuss in our next episode. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ सर्वं सुखी साई महाराज स्वामी चरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु. स्वस्ति. जय श्री राम.